Would you like to hear an epic tale?
Does this have anything to do with spring break?
It very well may. It is an extraordinary story with many twists and turns.
You know what? I'm actually very interested. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news show. I'm your host, Rosemary.
And I'm Dawson. It all started 13 days ago.
The last day of classes before spring break.
I'm trying to tell a story here.
Sorry, continue.
13 days ago, I was heading deep into the mountains, to places unexplored by man.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee. My family and I decided it would be the perfect Blankenbuehler-Lee bonding trip.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, it was. Until they attacked.
You may remember last season when I briefly covered Curses Part 2 by Kaz Moon in a sort of 3-for-1 deal segment alongside The Mollusk by Ween and Bandana by Freddie Gibbs. I think it only makes sense to cover the first project of the two, especially considering its significance in Kaz Moon's discography so far. This EP kick-started an ongoing era of experimental lo-fi pop for Kaz, one he explored in his previous EP, Bleed, but nearly perfected here. This is also a really short project, so I can actually cover every song this time. With that said, the first track, Nevermind, is an extremely strong first impression for Curses. It features Kaz's signature soft, dreamlike vocals with an equally serene guitar and piano instrumental. Nevermind introduces the overlying themes of limerence throughout this EP, with lyrics discussing Kaz's heartache and struggles with his own self-perception. The following track, Furious, continues with the themes of troubled romance while adding a touch of bitterness and sass in the lyrics. This is the most popular song on Curses as of now, and I get why. Furious has perhaps the catchiest vocal melodies on the whole EP, as well as an expertly crafted chorus curated for being a hit. One thing I'd like to mention here is how each track on this EP captures the same exact vibe, while still each being distinct enough to warrant individual discussion. This is something that is actually much harder to do than it may seem, but Kaz executes this perfectly, and has done so in all of his projects since. The transition from Furious to Good Grief is perhaps the best example of this. Good Grief is ghostly, and the most unique of the 5 tracks on Curses. It's also the shortest, which unfortunately means there's not a ton to discuss about it, although it is still an extremely strong addition to the tracklist. The 4th track, Citrus, shifts the mood upward with its instrumental, yet remains familiarly somber with its lyrics. This is just another example of how Kaz can make each of these songs so different, yet so similar at the same time. The closing track, Chum Bucket, is my favorite of the 5. It possesses a mood of bitter acceptance, perfect for closing out the EP. Chum Bucket perfects lo-fi pop in my opinion, and is almost as good as the worst track on Curses Part 2. Please listen to that EP, it's so perfect. This is getting really long, so I'll call it here. If you want to know more about what makes these tracks so good, then how about you listen to it yourself? Jeez. Anyway, until next time, Real Dealers.
You got attacked? Are you okay?
I barely escaped with my life.
What happened?
We were kayaking down a river.
Picturing Dawson in a kayak.
We were kayaking down a river when suddenly my brother saw something.
What did he see?
Something deadly, lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce.
Well, you look fine.
It was terrifying.
What was it?
A snake.
A snake?
A snake.
Like a venomous snake?
A water snake.
So, no.
The snake came out of nowhere, gunning straight for me.
Oh no.
It jumped into the kayak and we fought. I gave it a left hook and it jammed me straight in the nose, but I fought on. It was a close call, but in the end, I won.
Congrats.
But no victory comes without sacrifice.
Tell me your brother's okay.
I lost what mattered most.
Your mom? Your dad?
My glasses.
You thought you'd escape me, hadn't you? You thought you were free of me. Well, guess what? Plot twist, you are not! That's right. It's me, Seth, not a meth dealer, Purvis, Rosemary, back at you with another crazy tangent on a random topic in pop culture that no one asked for. So, the Oscars happened. I'm not going to talk about it because I didn't care enough to watch it, but it sure did happen. And you know what I thought would have been another cool plot twist? Did you say if M. Night Shyamalan won an Academy Award this year? No? Is it because you didn't know I was doing a bit from Dora the Explorer? That's okay. I'm sure you'll catch on. But yeah, I'm going to talk about him. Specifically, his infamous live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, because the show on Netflix came out a little while ago, and I finally mustered up the strength to watch it. And then afterwards, I decided to keep torturing myself and rewatch the movie, because I'm a masochist at heart. And as I sat there, tied down to my chair and contemplating pros and cons of lobotomy via soup spoon, I asked myself, which is worse? And my conclusion? Both of them. They both suck so much. One shamelessly whitewashes the source material with bad actors that you don't hear about anymore, and the other was just a shameless cash grab from a franchise I honestly wish we would just let die already. Seriously, Hollywood, listen to Mr. O'Hare and let it die. The horse is dead. Stop beating it. Now, if you were to put a revolver to my skull and demand that I pick a favorite, I would probably say the movie. Not for any genuinely good reason, just because it's shorter and easier to laugh at. But in any case, I do think that any expression of art, no matter how terrible you believe it to be, can teach us something. And do you know what lesson we can learn from this movie? Did you say that we should stop trying to adapt animation into live action because it was made as animation for a reason and most previous attempts were as appealing as eating glass? If you did, then I would be wildly impressed. I mean, you get a ton of respect from me, and that is worth a singular grain of salt. All right, toodaloo, lads, and remember, there are no rats in Alberta. All right, waka waka, and goodbye!
Wait, what? The snake stole your glasses?
The snake stole my glasses. It wasn't funny. I had to go the next few days without glasses. I kept running into things.
But you have your glasses on right now.
Yeah, these are my spares.
I can't believe a snake stole your glasses.
And I can't believe you don't have more sympathy for my dreadful situation. I can handle no more of this. On to the final words.
Unlike Seth, definitely a meth dealer, Purvis, I did watch the Oscars. Not necessarily by choice, I just can't say no to a hangout. This was my first time watching any award show, and I can confidently say I will not watch one again. That is, of course, unless someone invites me to watch it, in which case I will 100% be there. FOMO. One thing I do love about award shows is the fashion. There weren't too many crazy choices made this year, but there were still a few that stood out. Ariana Grande. She's facing so much criticism for her poofy pink dress, and I get it. Yeah, it did look like she was wearing a comforter, but it also looked like how I imagine fallopian tubes look. So there's that. I still think she looks stunning, though. I also love Jennifer Lawrence's black and white polka dot dress, almost as much as I love her, until I found out how long it took to make it. 1,500 hours. I love it a little less now. Then I got curious about the cost of the dress, and I found out that the average outfit of an Oscars attendee costs $10 million. As someone who will not buy a shirt if it's over 10 singular dollars, that is painful to see. I don't think any outfit should be worth that much money, and you know who I think would agree? John Cena. His outfit was jaw-dropping and chic, and it only cost him whatever Birkenstocks cost, and also countless hours at the gym and his 7-meal-a-day diet plan. But overall, my biggest critique of the Oscars and most award shows is that they aren't very sustainable. Lucky for us, I think John Cena just gave us the answer, and here's my suggestion. Oscars 2025, fully nude. Problem solved. Have a great week, and I'll see you later.
Good afternoon, morning, or evening to you all. Today I would like to bring awareness to snakes. Many people don't know much about snakes. However, there is a lot to know about snakes. Get ready for snake facts. Snakes can range from a few inches to many yards long. The largest snake ever was nearly a mile in length, making it the largest living creature since the Stegosaurus. Most snakes are carnivorous, but some have gone vegan due to rising environmental and ethical concerns. In the book of Genesis, from the Bible, God said that man will forever bruise the head of the serpent, and the serpent will forever bruise the ankle of man. However, my ankles have never been bruised by a snake, only by rocks and the occasional lemonade stand. The Council of Snakes has started a Homo sapien infiltration program, in which snakes pretend to be people by putting on little mustaches and suit jackets. However, the United States government is implementing countermeasures by slowing the production of fake mustaches. My favorite snake is the toffee hognose snake, because it has a funny name. Most snakes are reptiles, but many friend groups contain at least one snake or more. Make sure you can identify them if necessary. Indiana Jones is scared of snakes, and I am scared of Indiana Jones. Did you see that movie where he just shot the cool sword guy? If he was a villain, he wouldn't have gotten away with that. Lastly, snakes don't have legs except the few that do. Anyway, this has been Snake News. Return next week for more snake or non-snake related information. I've been Dawson, signing out. Have a nice snake.
As always, thanks for watching. If you want to see anything else from us here at The Real Deal, be sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and our website for all things entertainment. I'm Rosemary.
And I'm Dawson. Thanks for watching.